So really interesting story time. By the way, if you hear a noise, it's Woody who's eating. But I really wanted to talk about this or kind of vlog this story. My wife and I went to lunch today, and on our way back, we kind of have to drive. Not sure what it's called in English. Is it the interstate? So in Germany, you have city roads, right? And you have highways where you basically the German Autobahn where you can drive as fast as possible, but then you also have the so-called Landstraße. I think it is the interstate or country roads. I don't know what it is in English, but on those country roads, basically, or interstates, opposed to the highway where you usually can drive between 100 and open end. On the country roads, you're only allowed to drive 100 kilometers, but that's the sides of the story. So we were driving home on this country road, lots of traffic, and then my wife is like, "Oh no, there is raven on the side of the road." Fortunately, in one of these little parking bays, not a parking bay, but an emergency stop bay. And she said like, "Oh no, there is a raven. It appears to be hurt." And I was like thinking, okay, I cannot stop. I cannot turn in the middle of the country road. So we drove to the next exit, turned around again, so we could kind of see where the raven is, because obviously we weren't able to stop on one side and then cross the interstate. That's obviously A, dangerous, and B, forbidden. So we drove back, took the next exit out, and basically turned around again and used that emergency stop lane and went on the stop lane, put on hazard lights. She took out one of those foldable baskets that you can use for grocery. Took out the bag, and obviously, please be assured we stayed safe as much as possible. So we were trying to stay off the road with enough distance. So why we did that, we kind of were afraid because there was a fence left and right of that interstate or that country road, and that we were kind of afraid that the raven not only was hurt, but at some point potentially tries to cross the street and then either hits a car and is obviously then dead, or it would try to fly because it couldn't fly. It didn't appear to be able to fly, and then only kind of flies up a little bit and hits someone's windshield. So that was our concern, but mainly our concern was to kind of rescue that raven. So we tried to corner it a little bit, and fortunately it didn't try to escape in panic. It did try to hop away, and we were able to clearly see, okay, this bird is not able to fly and it's not as fast. So we approached it slowly and carefully, and then my wife was able to kind of carefully not pin it against the fence, but the bird hopped towards the fence and wasn't able to escape. So she was able to carefully put that foldable grocery basket that is actually about this big. So I would say, how much is this? 80 centimeters and then maybe 40 centimeters with the depth of, I would say, also 40 centimeters. So plenty of space to kind of accommodate that raven. So she put that basket over that raven, and I actually had this kind of windshield that you put into the car so the car wouldn't heat up. So it was a huge kind of protective silver windshield thing, and we were able to kind of, like you would catch a spider in your bedroom when you put a glass on top of the spider and slide a piece of paper underneath. Basically, that's what we did. We called a wildlife rescue, and we were able to pick up the whole raven carefully and put him in the car or her in the car and drove to the wildlife rescue and brought back the hurt animal. And fortunately, as far as the wildlife rescue specialist was able to see, that bird wasn't or didn't break anything. So his analysis was that because of these fences that they put up on next to those country roads, which are usually for deer not to kind of hop over and then cross the interstate. Because there is a fence, most birds, or especially this raven in this case, they don't see that fence and they try to fly over the interstate and then land basically in that little forest thingy. And sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times, because they don't see that fence, they crash into that fence and get kind of concussed and have some, aren't hurt that bad, but they lose kind of, yeah, they're kind of knocked out, basically, if I understood him correctly. But he said we did the right thing, because the worst thing that could happen is not only that the bird gets hit by a car and then obviously is dead, but if it worst comes to worst, he might kind of hit the windshield, and that obviously could cause some more accidents. So yeah, we were really, or the bird was really fortunate that he or she stopped by that emergency stop, because if that bird wouldn't have been in that place, my wife and I wouldn't have had any opportunity to kind of stop and rescue that bird, at least not safely, or not in a way that we would cause a traffic stop, or which obviously would be illegal. But because there was in this emergency stopping bay, we were able to stop the car and then pick up that animal. And yeah, as you can see in some of the pictures, the bird is okay, and that wildlife rescue is amazing. There was this chicken that was so friendly, and she was just walking around and getting really close to us, and it was really cool to see this wildlife rescue with all of these birds and squirrels. What else were there? Parrots, yeah, chicken. They had otters, but they already left wildlife rescue. Really would have loved to see some otters, but it was really cool to see this wildlife rescue reserve place. And my wife and I are so happy that we actually stopped and were able to rescue this raven, because as far as we can tell, once he got into that, I don't know the English word, in this cage, in this huge cage where there were so many ravens already that have been saved, and some of them are still healing, but as soon as they heal, he basically, or the rescue specialist, he basically just opens the door. If some of them wants to leave the rescue and fly out, they can. Some of them still stay because they are still hurt. And that's really cool. I think there were like, I don't know, 20 ravens there that needed to be taken care of. And that was really cool to see. So yeah, it's just something that I want to kind of share. And yeah, especially my wife and I, but more importantly, especially my wife, we're really, yeah, we love animals, and if we can save them, we don't shy away to do so. Obviously, always stay safe. If the raven, as I said, would not have been in that emergency stopping bay, please don't kind of risk your life, and more importantly, don't risk other people's life. But if you see an opportunity where you can safely rescue an animal, and you see that that animal is either hurt or in danger, if you can, why not? Again, as long as you don't kind of risk your own life or risk the life of other people, if you can, just do it. It's a good thing. B, it does feel good. Obviously, you shouldn't do it because just to feel good, but I just want to give you some incentive why you should maybe, if you can, rescue an animal. It's especially in these times, it can be very important because, as I said, these birds, they don't know the things that we humans build up, and this bird didn't know that there was a fence, and apparently he or she flew into that fence full speed and didn't know where his or her head was. So yeah, if you can, try to rescue animals. And yeah, that was just my short little story that I really wanted to share. And yeah, it was really, really cool to see all of these animals being taken care of. And I just know if we didn't try to at least help that animal, I wouldn't have been able to sleep tonight, because I would have been thinking, oh, is that raven okay? And again, if there is the possibility to safely rescue an animal, why not? Yeah, that was my short little story. That was basically my Ismono 3/Witcher 3 side quest of today. Experience point 50 experience points for me. So yeah, speaking of Witcher, maybe check out one of my Witcher videos, which I really enjoy at the moment. Check it out up here, because I don't know what else to kind of recommend. YouTube thinks that you like the video down here. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking the button up here. That way we see each other in the next video. Thank you very much.